Oh, well, I guess we can start like this and they'll join afterwards. So, okay, I guess this is the first of these meetings. Hopefully we'll do that every 2 weeks. The idea is mostly to think between ourselves and see what we're working on and how we can actually work as an effective decentralized development team. So first of all, I'd like for all of us to update on what we've been doing, not related to your projects, more like core Hive blockchain stuff. And before we start speaking, just say your name so that on the recording, people can recognize your voice. Anyone want to start?
This is Dan Notestein from Block Trades.
Okay, I'll try to fetch the admin powers next time. So I've been working mostly on the core chain part. I'm trying to work on porting the RC delegation for Hard Fork 24. It's not yet decided if we should include that or not, but I think it's a really important feature, especially with the end of the Steam account creation system, because we cannot, we have a lot of high power to delegate, but ideally it would stop a lot of spamming accounts being created. So that'll be quite useful. So yeah, I've been working on that. Trains, want to chime in on everything you've been doing and your team?
Sure. So can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so the airdrop, the second round airdrop code is pretty much done and tested. We're just waiting for the account names now as far as that we'll process. So let's see, beyond that, the delayed voting code is also done. We're doing a few more last minute tests, but so far everything looks good. So that's also pretty much done at this point. Other things we've been working on, the continuous integration software. There were some problems there were some earlier commits from Steemit that had broken that. So some of that, so we're fixing some of that now, mainly in the testing area. So we've got two different types of tests we're running now on the blockchain code. One is the unit tests, and we've also been setting up a separate system which uses Python tests, which these are like API level tests versus unit tests. So whereas the unit tests are testing right at the C++ code level, these Python tests are testing at the API levels to be sure we don't break anything as far as an external system sees the Steemd running as. So that work is going along pretty well. We're adding more tests to that system, and we plan on including those tests in the continuous integration before long. On the continuous integration front, we're also looking to set up two separate sort of Dockers, one that runs all the tests and does everything we need as developers, and then a lighter version that just does the work necessary for building something that can be used by Exchange, so that the testing doesn't need to be quite as heavy. Let's see, other work we're doing. We're looking at moving APIs, and this is sort of more work isn't done yet, but we've begun it. We're looking at migrating more of the information out of Steemd into HiveMind in terms of API support. So having HiveMind do more of the API support. Let's see what else. On the front end side, this is still on the library side of things. Hive.js we're trying to finish up the code to do the failover over to other API servers. That's fairly far along. I need to check back and see what our current status on that is, because the guy who was working on that got temporarily assigned to something else. Let's see what else. Other issues we need to discuss setup of a public test net, and hopefully I'm looking for some volunteers who might willing to take on that task. And let's see, one more thing. And then on the, okay, so that's kind of all the blockchain side and, oh, and coding side. Let's talk a little more on the DevOps side of things. We're still working on adding servers. We should have basically we should have improvements every day, I think was the way it was put to me, for the next couple of days. We've been working on primarily just one API server. Now we should have 3 or 4 in the next week. We're also adding another Juicy in front of things. And we're going to do some improvements to Juicy as well, just very minor ones. We're actually want to look at possibly replacing Juicy with something else entirely, something more standardized. So I don't want to put a lot of effort into Juicy improvements at this point. Let's see. As far as work that's pretty much all done at this point, the image server, we've got redundancy on the image server at the caching level, also at the image server level, and the only thing we don't have redundancy yet on is the actual file service itself that delivers up the images, basically the AWS replacement engine. And we've got a server coming in to replace that, to duplicate that soon. It's rated and everything, so it's safe enough as it is, but we want a failover support on the actual file server too. So that's pretty much it, or at least what comes to mind right offhand. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but I'll probably pass this off to someone else next. So let's see. See if I can pick somebody because it could get hard otherwise. Netuoso, do you want to cover what you're working on now?
Yeah. As far as here related to kind of the main core of things, I've been working on improving the Docker files that we have set up for the exchanges. They don't need to have a lot of the bloat that's inside of there, a lot of the testing, and some of the stuff's outdated as it was related to Steam. Some of the references there need to be removed. So that's pretty much done. I have some changes I'll be pushing there. The repo has been kind of moving around, so I've been waiting for it to end up somewhere. But I think we finally got the repo in a public spot where I can go ahead and push those changes for exchanges to use. And including with some of these changes, I have support for the Hive asset that has been causing serialization issues. I just need to check and run a full replay just to make sure that the state doesn't get affected by anything, but that fix will make it to where we don't have to use hot fixes for Hive.js or Steam.js or whatever. And aside from that, on my own, working on getting a full node running, full node API running for the network with Hive Mine and community support to kind of remove from the load on each of the individual nodes. And with that, I'm looking into local data centers to get the hardware to install for bare metal servers instead of using Cloud Center. But I guess that's pretty much it for right now. I don't know. Do I need to pick somebody here, or somebody going to go next? I don't know. Dracos, you got something to add in?
Maybe not. Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, anyone else? Oh, he actually said in the chat, hold on his microphone.
All right, I think it's working now.
Yeah.
This is Dracos. I've been focused mainly on the DevOps aspect of things. At some point, there was a problem with HiveMind because of the change of servers by Marquee. There was a problem with the blacklist, and later on, there was a problem with the irredeemables URL that was causing HiveMind to freeze. So that was fixed and worked out. Other than that, I'm focused on running my own API node, and I would like to add a account history to it. For that, I would need new hardware, extra hardware for it, because it requires more space. So hopefully in the next week or two, I'll be able to buy more NVMe and run an account history node, and maybe share it with the others. Because right now, the only account history is by NEX. And I think there's a lot of load on his server, because whenever something messes up with the other small API nodes, everybody goes to NEX. And I don't think that's a good idea, because it's a major failing point. If something happens to NEX, I think the rest of the network can suffer. So I think we'd like to see more API nodes and more account history nodes being set up. And that's pretty much the other things I'm working on is my own tools and my own website. So, but that's not covered here.
Okay, cool. Anyone else?
Also, can I just add another thing?
Sure.
Since Blocktrace mentioned it, it's about Juicy. Juicy is not very efficient. If you run torture tests on a node with and without Juicy, you get twice the performance without it. So there's definitely room for improvement with Juicy, or if we can replace it to something more efficient, that would be ideal. But for now, I think if we can figure out, I'm not a Python coder, so it's gonna be somebody else doing that work. If somebody can fix the efficiency of Juicy, that would be great.
Yeah, I guess that's the plan.
So just to mention, as far as what we're looking at as a possible replacement is the one tool we've looked at so far, we're thinking about looking at so far is something called Envoy.
Oh, that rings a bell. Shall we move on to the other topics? Basically, the biggest thing we need to talk right now is the flow of how we want to work regarding the issues, GitLab, etc. Blocktrace puts a post with like a good workflow. I don't have any issue with it, and I pretty much would be okay in applying it. Do you guys have any thoughts regarding it? Okay, great. So let's use that workflow then. For those who don't remember it, the idea is basically we create issues and then we basically try to put as much info on it as possible. And then we basically put labels to be to have it reviewed by other people. Then we collectively decide if we should put work on it or not, ideally during one of these meetings. And then we'll basically allocate it to someone and we'll continue from it. Regarding our Git branching strategy, I think on Hive core, I like the way it's currently done with you have the one branch, which is the next hard fork, for instance, 0.24.0, and we try to merge everything on it. But for all the projects, I think we should have like condenser. We should try to have like dev staging, master, or production. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I guess I'm wondering why we need extra branches. For me, just tags should be sufficient. I prefer not to have a lot of branches.
I'm down for both, to be honest. I don't really mind as long as it's well defined. We have to take it for Steam, right? For Hive, right?
Yeah. So, well, for Hive, I mean, I actually want to go down to a master branch, and then we tag releases and we tag testnet, just using tags. So that would make master would be basically your stable the head of master would basically be your stable development branch. I mean, your stable development point.
Well, no, that would be the dev part, because you constantly, you would like have dev branches and then you merge.
Yeah, sure, right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's right.
Okay, yeah, I'm down for that. So yeah, basically, we are going way faster than what I thought. That's pretty cool. I was expecting way more debates. In terms of roles, on GitLab, we currently have, I think only Broad-Trade's team is able to merge things. How do we want to assign roles to devs? AKA,
Yeah,
who
that's
can
a
commit,
great
who
question.
can review?
So it feels like we should have like managers for different projects, and we give them the authority in their project.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. The main question is, how do we define those? And I think it should just be technical capability and the history towards the project. Like I would see Roadscape as a great owner for Condenser, for instance.
Yeah, well, it's a good question. I mean, it could come down to a little bit who's actually doing the hosting too for like the websites. So,
Sure.
I mean, like whoever's, you know, so I mean, and of course, then we could also have, you know, just create multiple copies, you know, with some kind of common base as well. So to deal with that kind of issue as well, if it comes down to it. So Condenser right now, I think we're hosting. I don't know if anyone else is hosting Condenser at this point, but I would be happy to have Roadscape do it. I don't know that he wants to take on that task at this point, but if he does, that would be great. We'll have to ask him, I guess. So I would almost say we could have people nominate themselves if they want to be a reviewer for a project, and it's a starting point, and we could have, and then if there's multiple nominees, we could select from them, I suppose.
Yeah, I think I'll create an issue in tasks to be done to basically ask for who wants to do it, and then we can basically put up a vote or something.
Sounds good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm the Real Wolf. I've got a quick comment regarding the hosting. Right now for Hive.io, Roland has set up a GitLab pipeline where the code is first committed into develop, and then when it's, it's compiled, tested for errors, or maybe not, I'm not sure, but it's compiled, and then it's being run on staging.hive.io,
Yes.
which means if there are any problems, it won't build. And then when it's merged, it's rebuilt, and then it's running on hive.io on the main page. And right now, the merge requests need only one person to approve. I think in the future, it would be good to have multiple people, like, I don't know, I create a merge request and two other people have to approve it. So my thought is that there could be one person, or I don't know, multiple who are actually paying for the hosting, but the actual building and the deploying should be as automated as possible, or that would be ideal, because then the person also doesn't have to be bothered with actually deploying it.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. As far as the review rules, I think that's probably going to wind up being on a project by project basis as to how many reviewers. So yeah, I mean, obviously the more secure things need more reviewers, and then beyond that, it's kind of up to each project, I think, to make a determination on how many reviewers it should have.
Yes, I agree. I think as long as the current maintainer is active, or the current maintainers, I don't know, maybe 1 or 3 people are enough, but we should at least have the ability to create new maintainers when the old ones maybe rotate out.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, just easy to change the roles in GitLab. It's super easy. So
yeah, it's pretty cool actually. At first I thought GitHub was better, but actually I'm quite glad that we stuck with GitLab.
Yeah, still not convinced. But yeah, once we have a proper pipeline, it will be really cool. Do we have any plans to run pipelines on Hive, by the way?
you mean Hive.blog or
No,
Hive itself?
Hive itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the continuous integration stuff I was talking about earlier.
Oh,
That
yeah, right.
basically is
Forgot about
pipelining.
Okay, so that's actually linked to it. How should we do deployments? Should it be, because I'd like to have something like what Microsoft has been doing for quite a few years, which is basically Maintenance Thursday, where say once per month, we wouldn't do it once per month because we're more agile than that, but basically once every X amount of time, so basically deploy all of their fixes or new features. That way we can all be ready to like put up all your features and then deploy it. And all of the coders know that if they want their changes to be included, they need to get everything reviewed for that Thursday. And yeah, that's basically the idea behind it. Instead of having like deployments that are a bit like, oh yeah, if the maintainer is ready to deploy, etc. Then again,
So you want to set like a fixed date for, is that what you're getting at, suggesting a fixed date for releases, or?
Yeah, for that will be only for front ends. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because ultimately then you can be sure that then it's more fixed to when your fixes go live and stuff like this. It's more comfortable as a dev, I think. That's a question
I think a fixed flexible kind of thing definitely, makes sense, because like you said, with Microsoft, they are a bit more stable. They know that they have regular weekly, monthly fixes and things like that, regular security updates, but we won't exactly have regular updates all the time. So it's not like it's going to be definitely fixed 100% every single, say, week or 2 weeks, but I think a fixed flexible is a good idea to start from.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it can be tried. I'm just down to try a lot of things regarding how we should do this. And that was a question by that person who I cannot pronounce the name, Hui, whatever. So I guess he wanted to ask if we should do deployments automated or manually. I think it should be manual because we'll always have a lot of stuff to do. And
oh, you mean manual? He was specifically talking about condenser, no?
Yeah.
Yes, he was talking about condenser. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea. Roland, I think, suggested that he could set up staging and stuff like that, pipelines and everything, and it sounded like a good idea to me.
Yeah, I'm happy to set up. I have a VPS running now. I'm happy to set up a pipeline for. I like it. It's fun to see a screen where the computer is working for you. I really love it. That's why I started with Net anyhow, that the machine can do the work. But yeah, I would love to set up at least for the development environment to set up a continuous staging for a condenser. See if I can make that happen. It is a very small Docker VPS, so I don't know if it can manage. It will definitely not be able to build Steam or Hive, but condenser it should. And then we can go from there if you also want to add the live side to automated build and deploy, but that's maybe in a later stage.
Yeah, I think the staging is the first step. Let's get that done and see how that's working out. And it would be nice to have something that everybody can just see the new features before we have to go live with it, or have to arrange their own local test.
Okay, so that's about it for deployments, I think. Then we basically have priorities. How do we, because assuming we do the flow correctly, we'll have a ton of issues. How do we want the flow to be to actually define priorities? And regarding I think it's mostly regarding blockchain features rather than front-end features, because there is always a lot of costs and there is more cost in development, I think, for blockchain rather than front-end, especially with the release schedule.
So from my point of view, I would rather avoid a lot of new features, at least for the next couple of weeks. So I would like to table this discussion of how we come up with new features. I mean, there's two different issues in the new features. As far as I see it, I guess there's new features at the community level, which are going to involve discussions, presumably on the blockchain. And then once we get to some kind of consensus there, then those features need to migrate into issues and that we're actually going to do. And at that point, we've got to figure out the order. And I would almost rather prefer to leave that up to the programmers who are actually doing it to determine the order for those features once they're set as requirements.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to get to that point even.
Yeah, so I don't think that's something that's going to bite us too soon. Our focus, at least initially, is definitely going to be on optimization work. Any critical features if something pops up.
Sure. Well,
but I think there's a lot of work. There's still obviously a lot of work that goes on in the libraries and the front ends and everything.
Yeah, luckily we have devs from all over the place in terms of technical capabilities. So I think we can have a nice team in the end to decide who does what. So moving on to the core blockchain, let's talk scope for the hard fork 24. I know you've been working the most on it, block trades and Netuoso, so whichever wants to start.
So I guess I've pretty much covered over what we're doing for hard fork 24, which is the airdrop code, pending the names. The other thing is, of course, the delayed voting. And that's all that comes to mind that we have as far, I guess one other thing, the chain ID change. We've been discussing a plan for that. So that will probably be included as well.
Yeah, and just to finally add to that is maybe the asset change on my side, making it into 24. But like Dan said, I think the delayed voting change is pretty much the major addition in 24 and the airdrop. Yeah,
and the reason I don't want to try to fit anything more into this is because we do have this airdrop thing going on, and we don't want to really delay that too long. So it's it's not fair to the people who got cut out by mistake. So we should try to get that in a reasonable time period.
So by the way, Netuoso, how far are we with the Steam proposal system Hive to Hive back to dollars conversion thing?
I have to run a full replay and make sure the serialization works out good during the full replay of the chain. Should take no more than, I don't know, maybe 8 hours or whatever to run through the full thing on my machine. So maybe cool. Today, maybe tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. So let's get hard fork 24 to be ASAP. How many days do we want to give to the exchanges before freezing the code? I heard it was.
I think 30 days is the plan.
Yeah, 30 days was the plan. Yeah. Well, then, how soon should we? How soon do you think we'll be ready for that?
I think this week, sometime this week.
Yeah, cool. Okay, now SMTs. Do we want them for hard fork 25, 26? Do you guys think it's still necessary? Personally,
I think there's a lot of people who want SMTs, so whether we think they're necessary or not, I'm not sure we can avoid them.
Yeah, I agree.
So I guess I don't know what hard fork to put them in yet. This next hard fork is obviously a very small one, and I would like to, it's too early in the optimization work yet to say what that's going to look like and how much time it's going to take. We should have a better insight in a couple weeks. And at that point, I think we could then sketch out a time frame for SMTs. One other issue I forgot to mention is on the stuff we're doing. We're also tasked with doing a security audit for the exchanges, and so that's also going to take up a little more time for a week or two as well. So I'm going to work on that with one of the other guys here.
Yeah, I was thinking of taking over some of the SMT work, mainly porting all of the issues, seeing what is left to do. I'd like to change some stuff about the SMT and the way they are currently implemented. For instance, right now there is a notion of assets. We only use a nice, which is for those who didn't see the code. Basically, you don't have like a ticker for a specific SMT. You just have numbers, and it's really nice, well done for the UIs. But yeah, the idea was to have a community-led, basically map where you have NIE to assets, but then you have to trust that thing. And I think it's quite a shame, because the only reason why this was done that way is just to avoid name squatting. But with a high enough creation price, we won't have that much name squatting. So I think it's worth to change it.
Okay. So I think what you said about porting the issues is great. And if you even write up what you know of how things work and point to us, have a central documentation. Some of our guys did work on SMTs quite a bit in the past, and they had some ideas for changes as well. So I think SMTs is likely to undergo some decent amount of changes before we actually deploy it. But again, the guys that I would like to assign to work on that are probably a couple of weeks out before they could even look at that.
Yeah. Okay, so last points I have is basically we have to see what's left to do on libraries. I know there is work on Steam.js to have multiple node redundancy. I think it's really important to have that on all libraries. We have that on Python like forever, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. It should be done for all the libraries.
And I think Real Wolf linked a library that a wrapper around dapps that actually allowed that, but I'm not sure if it's really well done or not. But it should be inside of it. If anyone wants to take on that task, that would be really well. So
you're referring to Steam.js, right? Because I recently
and the Hive.
No, a dHive has fallback support. I added that recently.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Yeah. I can look at Steam.js, but I'm not that familiar with the code. So
we have a guy working on that now.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about all of the points that I had for today. So we were really efficient, half an hour.
What about dHive? Maybe I missed that. Was dHive got the fallback support? Was that what you were saying? I wasn't sure with the accent. Sorry, guys.
Yes, dHive has fallback.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, the German accent. Brot.
So yeah, if you guys have any other points, feel free to share them. I'm done with my personal list.
Regarding SMTs, do you think we would be able to ship them faster than Steam?
Definitely. I mean, seeing how slow they are with even basic stuff. I mean, their recent hard forks, they just had to copy paste stuff, and it took them quite a while to ship it. Same for the when they did their surprise hard forks, they just took the sort fork from Virtuoso and they just changed the date because they were afraid to change other part of the code. So yeah,
well, I think they blocked some extra operations too.
Yeah.
I think they took the 22.6 code, which added the extra transactions and the exchange,
okay.
and then they took out the exchange part. But yeah, I don't think they have too much knowledge there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I can't see them really taking on SMTs.
I mean, later on, I think they will definitely be able to hire the right persons, but we definitely.
I think it's a big assumption of what they're going to do next. Honestly, I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they could launch SMTs the way they are now and brace for impact.
Sure.
I mean, we had a testnet with SMTs running. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You're totally correct. I could see them doing that.
Yeah, so, but I think this is where we will shine by having like actually better SMTs.
Well, I mean, if they launch SMTs, I mean, we don't even know what the performance impact would be in a real system. It could be really bad for them.
Yeah, definitely. I guess there is a bit of a discussion on regard code and how Steam will directly benefit from us, which is, I mean, that's the spirit of open source, so that's not an issue per se. But when you think about it, they might just launch faster than us as soon as we launch a testnet and be like, okay, this code is ready, and then like steal the thunder just because they launched code that wasn't like properly tested.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I think if we should be a little careful in the way we release, that's for sure. Exposed code, but so if we think there's something super critical, we could always work in something in a separate repository until it's ready.
Yeah,
if
definitely.
we decide there's something like that. But let's see exactly what they do in the meantime first. We'll see just how agile they are.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess that's about it. In terms of items that I got, it's basically who wants to set up a testnet.
Yeah,
Yes.
and also we need to pick reviewers. I guess projects. Yeah. You said you're going to create an item for reviewers.
Reviewers, and basically, I think we could have a system where we have like project owners who are like reference points.
Yeah,
where people
I think
can
that's a
actually
good way to
go
do
and
it.
ask questions.
Yep. So as part of that reviewing, we should also ask if particular people want to be project owners. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think we can have project owners, then reviewers, then just devs. That way you really have like, not a chain of command, but people who are more and more knowledgeable. And so if the project owner...
Yeah, I mean, a reviewer can be a project owner too, right? I mean, they don't have to be separate. Yep. You'd think likely they'll often be the same.
Yeah, at first, definitely.
Unless it's a project owner more in the sense of functionality, like a product manager versus a developer.
Oh yeah, no, it's more. Yeah, no, I don't think we have too many product owners right now.
Probably not.
And yeah, Draco's rating is Steam priority is fast power gens, and they still haven't figured that out. So. So yeah, I think that's about it. We really should all strive to use more the GitLab, set up alerts if you can for emails and stuff. I know I have emails for pretty much everything that goes on. And try to create issues whenever you have an idea or stuff like this. Just set it to open.
Issue creation is definitely something we need to get more happening, but that's kind of this meeting was just, I guess, arranging how that process will be. It seems like we're agreed on the basic concept. So yeah, definitely. I would ask everybody to just go back and look over what things they want to do. And even if they're working on something now, just create an issue for it just so that we have a better way of tracking.
Definitely. I imagine in the future we'll just like open the issues list for these kinds of meeting and discuss them, because that's basically what I envision for this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. We definitely want to be at that point for long.
Until then, we need to write more issues. So, and this is where, for those of you who are listening but not on the actual call, you can also create issues. The GitLab is totally open, and so feel free to do that. This is also a good way. Someone asked me recently how they can lobby for features to be added to Steam, to Hive or SMTs. That's the way you do it, basically. You create an issue and then you explain point per point why it's important, and then just lobby for it on chain and to the developers.
Yeah, and the better written it is, the more likely someone will pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's cool about it, is that since we are all decentralized, you can just, if you just find one dev to do it, then there is a high chance it will be actually included. But yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you all for coming. If you have any ending words, feel free.
Nothing here. Thanks.
I appreciate it. Thanks for hosting, Hal.
You're welcome.
Yes, well done. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, then I guess we'll meet again in 2 weeks. So that's the 20th of April. Are you all okay with that that time, or would you rather have another time or day of the week?
That's okay for me.
Monday's fine for me.
Cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
also
good for
that
now.
time is okay.
Okay, great. Well, then I'll set up a. Oh yeah, no, Ronald actually did a Zoom meeting already, so I guess I'll see all of you the 20th then.
Yes. Do you want the next one to be live streamed on YouTube?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make sure. But this one will be posted there. Yes. Okay. Sorry, Dracos, but it's YouTube. You're free to post it on TreeSpeak too, or on DTube.
Is DTube even on Hive?
Sorry.
I was wondering if DTube was even working on Hive.
Yeah, there are.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, thank you for coming.
Thanks, all. See you.
Thank you.
See ya.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.